So, how about that last video, huh? I sure did make a lot of broad sweeping optimistic claims in that video. Claims I do stand by. By the way, check out the drip. Recognize that album? I hope you see a theme throughout these videos. Um, I, uh, I don't disagree with those claims that I made. As far as work is concerned. Um, but man, did I have a tough day today. I came in sick again. I had a lot more work than I normally have, and more detail oriented because I had to clean in places that were very, very dirty in ways that required getting one's hands dirty, let's just say. And that was tough because I felt ready to like drop tired asleep like an hour into work, and I ended up finishing after like almost a whole shift. Um, and I just basically had to push myself. I feel like the thing that pushed me the hardest about halfway through was like anger that I felt at someone I used to know who told me that I couldn't do things, I couldn't succeed, or they didn't believe in me, or they didn't think I really changed that much as a person in the time that they had known me, not enough to warrant the prestigious position of being their friend at least. And then I thought, I'm gonna finish this shift good and quick, and as best as anyone can, because you know what? They got fired from their job that was far, far easier than mine. And it was with them sort of living rent free in my head. I'll freely admit it. That it pushed me just like purely out of spite through the physical pain I was feeling to finish what I was trying to do, what I needed to do, and I did. But it was at the cost of my own physical well-being. And then I had to walk home for at least an hour, what ended up becoming like two, because I got lost on the way home, because my phone ran out of batteries, and I had to walk with that, um, which ended with me almost getting ran over 3 different times. One of them, a car had clipped me. It brushed up against the side of my shoe, as well as my arm, because the part I was walking on, it's an essential part of the way home. You literally can't avoid it. Had no sidewalk, so I was literally just walking on the road, an extremely busy road, mind you. Um, I go again and almost get ran over crossing at an intersection. And once again, another case. And then the final time, the time that's really been wearing on me, that's really been bothering me, um, is when I walked at a don't walk light because I'm used to people in this town allowing me to. I'm used to people stopping for me. Um, as a matter of courtesy. And in other countries I've been in, that's been far more common. However, I've never expected that in America. That was kind of a new expectation that other countries brought on me. I came to this place to live in this new place, and it started happening all the time here. So what did I assume? There's a certain culture here of people doing that. I thought, oh, isn't this nice? It's a part of America that's a little bit more civilized, a little bit more respectful. And you know what happened? The guy ostensibly stops for me. I wrongfully assume he did. I walk forward, and then he speeds up the moment that I get closer to him. And I'm like extending my hand out, like, hey, what the fuck? And he stops again suddenly and is just yelling at me through the door. And I run across the street in my uniform and everything. And here I am just wanting to get home. Just fucking, like, I don't want to be yelled at by some random fucking guy. It's like, maybe you shouldn't have given out those signals to go fucking walk. if you see someone standing there walking. Maybe you should assume that the person walking values their time because they're going to take longer to get to their destination than you who's in an automobile. But of course, the intuitive assumption to many Americans is, no, you're a pedestrian. And, where does the saying, "that's so pedestrian," come from in this country and in Canada? The idea that you're lesser. I was being treated as lesser because I didn't have an automobile. But really, who would, in this economy where gas is through the roof, where people have to pay $200 to fill up a fucking tank? I'm smart for walking. I am smart for not driving the way you are. I could be working at a position that makes far, far more money than I am, not a low skill position, and I'd still be smart for walking. But you're in the automobile. You're driving, right? You can afford to. And of course you do it because you can afford to. And for no other reason, right? Unless maybe you just really needed to get somewhere on time. I'll grant you that. Maybe when everyone is getting off of work, I assume you as well, you really had to get somewhere on time. I doubt it. You were probably getting off work just like those people. But your time as someone who could get wherever you were going to go far quicker than I could just mattered that extra bit more to almost run into me, an inch away, to honk at me, to yell at me, when you are the one who initially gave off the implication that I could walk. When the people from the other row were stopping as though I could walk. Maybe you should have followed their signals. But no. I'm the one who, after toiling away, physically exhausted, sick, just wants to get home, has to walk over an hour to get home. I'm the one who is the target of your animus, the object of your disdain for those few seconds. Why? Have you ever taken a moment to consider why, to think about why, to consider the implications, the ramifications of your actions? No. Not once. Not once do these people ever consider. And that by far has been the thing that has made me most consistently angry with people in this world. It's been the complete and utter lack of care, of thought, of forethought when it comes to other people and how your actions affect the lives of other people. Implicitly, intuitively, I think about this. You see it with how I behave, with what I do. To many, it would seem pre-planned, so incredibly studied in comparison to their impulsivity. But to me, it's second nature. It's simply a matter of being. And it's because I care. I may not know you. I may not know the person standing by me or walking by me, but I know that they're a person. Intuitively, I know that they're a person, just like me, with feelings just like me, a backstory just like me. And while I may not be able to know the full extent of that backstory, I may not be able to know whatever things might be bothering them that day or trigger them that day, I do know things that could generally bother most people. Things that are generally unwise, not nice, rude to do, mean. And what do? I be patient with people. I turn the other cheek. I think, well, maybe they're having a hard day today. This little thing they did to arouse my annoyance, not so big of a deal. Not a deal breaker, certainly. I can go on living just like anybody else at the end of the day. Unshattered, unraptured, however you want to spin it. I go on. Life goes on. Is it really that important to make a mountain out of this molehill? To potentially ruin the other guy's day? Just because there's a tiny obstacle placed in front of me for a few seconds? No. My personal convenience, my speediness, hastiness, however you want to put it, never stands up to the empathy I would feel, to what I could, the potential person I could be harming. I may not know that it is that person. I can't know for sure, but I can know that I don't know, which is enough of a reason to act with preparedness, to be patient, to be calm, and turn the other cheek, to act as though I am always forgiving those around me. That is not to say I'm a doormat, nor is it to say that I blindly take whatever's going on around me. I stand up for myself, but it's possible to stand up for yourself and to still behave with basic respect and decency and care for others. And I think where it's most easily expressed is simply by stopping. Stopping for the guy walking down the street. Or, if you didn't think he was gonna walk across the street, you stop. And maybe you stopped in a hurry and it was close, but nothing happened. You can intuitively realize nothing happened. Nothing's there to show for it. Just a guy who's gonna take a couple seconds out of your life to get across that fucking road. But no, it's an excuse. It's an excuse to behave like you're the dictator of their life, right? Like you can boss them around, like you can cuss them out, like you can yell at them and honk at them. It's an excuse to get out all of that anger underneath the surface and project it onto one person who did something that was really just a minor inconvenience. But this is what people do in this country. This country that seems to lack basic morals and common decency, this is what people do. This is what people have always done. Look at the way people behave at service sector workers, for example. The way that they will constantly chastise, berate, and yell at them for even the most minor mistake, regardless of whether or not they're on a time schedule. Some friends of mine, upon having brought up this point to them, have made the counter-argument that perhaps those people are in a hurry. Even then, I don't think it justifies it, but oftentimes they're not, and they still behave this way. I've had so many people from that industry make a minor mistake in front of me, and I'm quiet, reserved, patient, and I go, "You're good." And would you believe the look in their eyes and the happiness they feel at how patient I've been? Because someone else, and they know it, they've seen it so many times, would immediately use that as an opportunity, as an excuse to act as though they're the boss for just a moment. Because they're probably in the exact same position as that service sector worker, being chastised, being berated by their superior, by that one who is in higher on the food chain, who is up on the hierarchy. But when they're calling in to the hotline or to the Burger King call a fucking drive-through window, or at the front of the fucking store when they're getting their groceries back, what have you. There's a moment, just a little moment, when they can feel like they're the boss. And all of American culture is centered around this idea. The idea that we're just clueless, temporarily embarrassed millionaires who one day are going to make our big break. But not yet. We're not there. But oh boy, when we're there, we're going to be able to boss those people around, right? We're going to be able to be unfair to those around us, just like people have been unfair to us. And so, when they're ordering their burger, getting their groceries bagged, or calling into the hotline, there's a split second, a moment, a point in time where they can feel like the boss that they are forever trying to become. But they're never going to be that boss. You and I are not going to be the boss. But we behave like we will. We behave in all of the unfair ways that they behave towards us. Maybe we should stop. Maybe if we came together as human beings, they wouldn't have a say in our lives anymore. And we could treat one another with the sort of fairness that we've always wanted to be treated with, that we thought could only be afforded to us by us becoming them and being unfair to others. This structure needs to go. This system needs to go. The problem is not working. I like working. I like being able to look at the end product of my work and being able to assign a dollar amount to it. I would like to get more of that dollar amount that is being extracted from that work. I see the boss as a sort of parasite taking my surplus value, the money that I am making through my labor, and arbitrarily taking from it what they will, when I am the one who built that. You and I are the ones who built that. Maybe we should channel some of that anger at these people who time and time again are killing us, either through suicides or other diseases of despair like addiction, or through something as simple as being ran over by an oncoming car. Maybe we should kill them.